recording.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Patrick at Qdabra Software, and welcome to our weekly webinar. Today's topic, a very simple one. We're talking about how to share links from SharePoint Online with your forms, and these links are typically something that you would create to add to an email or add to your forms, or even just the Kauto's going to talk about it. Kauto Komura is a presenter today, and I'm very happy that she's prepared this webinar for you. Kauto has a master's degree in mathematics from Kyushu University, and she had a very successful career at IBM and then at Microsoft as a senior researcher, a computational linguist, and we've been happy to have her here at Qdabra since, I want to say it's almost 15 years, Kauto, but
I think so.
Welcome aboard, everyone. We have one quick question here at the beginning, and this is, how do you currently create links in SharePoint? Thanks for being here. Thanks for answering this simple question. Looks like we're distributing the poll, so hopefully you can see the question. Kauto, can you see the question? Okay, yes, we have one answer.
Yeah.
And we're going to wait. I guess we got two answers now, so keep going. We'll wait for another second or two. Okay. So it looks like most of you are using the first technique, open documents in the browser and copying the URL. And this is not the best technique. And Kauto is going to talk about why that is the case today. So thank you very much for that simple poll, Kauto.
Thank you very much. Well, I would say it depends on the situation, but I would explain what I feel about how to create and what types of link we can use for SharePoint. Thank you very much for your introduction, Patrick. So I'm going to share with you with really tiny tip for today. It's about the link. And the link is everywhere these days. And especially today, I focus on the link for the document in a SharePoint document library. Links and web pages in your document email, and of course, in our Forms viewer forms. So the idea of today's webinar came from a question from a client asking how to open a SharePoint document in the Forms viewer, especially how to create the URL. So we think, oh, even this tiny thing may help some of you. So let's go to the some agenda item. So I'm going to introduce 3 URL style today and think about the pros and the cons of this technique. Okay, the first one is maybe this would be the most common one. You can open and just copy the URL. So let me show this. So this is our test library, and what we often do is just double click or click the document and copy this URL. And because this is not easy to see, I would copy this to Notepad with large font. I really like this new feature, and also with a theme. So this has a kind of encoding. So I often use decode and encoder. You can find this kind of decoder or encoder easily on website and decode this so that we can read this a bit better style and paste this. So it's a little bit better style to read that. Anyway, this is not so intuitive as you can see. And what I really don't like, or it's tough, is this kind of coding. Yes, source doc equal part is a unique ID. So this is not readable, and you may not know, or your form may not know this unique ID. And another thing I really hate or the trouble with this one is, yes, you can see site name, and this is tenant, and this portion webinars 2002-2007 21 is subsite. That's okay. Yes, some layout and we have file name here, but we do not have library name or library folder name. Now, first thing I would like to mention this is, of course, this includes unique ID, which is not so obvious. And library name and subfolder is not shown in the URL. So I was involved in various migration, site migration, or when a company has joined or separated division, they have to do the site, well, kind of migration. And sometimes it's so tough to locate the document from this type of link because we are missing the library name and the subfolder name, and unique ID doesn't work if you move to new migration site. So this is the characteristic of this one, to use open and copy this kind of URL. And
the unique ID is the source document, right? This GUID, the globally unique.
Yeah.
That's only globally unique to that one site, right? Or that's one
That's right.
server.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. So better not to refer the document with unique ID. Please not use unique ID.
This was what most of the people said they were using, which is kind of interesting in the poll. So what's the better technique?
Yeah, I would. And also, one more last thing is this has not W here, which refer to Word document. So this is the style is different, depends on the document type, like an Word or Excel or image or something like that. So what I comes up with the next one is really straightforward way, because I've made a web page a lot. I just at least try to combine the library name and file name. It works somehow. It's straightforward. However, what you say is, let me do this. Do I have copy? Okay. Oops. Excuse me. Yep. If I copy this one, yep, this readability is really good because you know everything from this URL. However, if I just copy this, what happens? Document is downloaded instead of viewing. It may depend on browser setting or so on and so on. When I was using really old browsers, some browser open the document by setting, but mostly these days, document is downloaded instead of opening in the browser. And also this means that, let me move this back to reading view. And this means that if a user has read-only access, the person gets access denied. So it's a huge cons, I'm afraid.
So they can't even download it.
They cannot download because download means that, yeah, we can make it something. Yeah, thank you very much. One of our Qdabra member, we confirmed that with her. And also, this means that this is not so good for mobile device because you need Office Reader and it's so small, it's not so easy to read.
So this isn't the right solution either, then, right, Kat? It's just
Yeah, that's right. 'Cause this is really intuitive, and I first tried this, but but this is not so convenient. So what I am comfortable using or sharing with clients so far right now is the third technique. This is a preview. So now there is more way to share. Let me go back to our library. Okay, my library. And when you do a right click here, there are several ways to open. The first one, open in browser, is the one we tried with technique number 1, but there is another one saying preview. And let's see. So this is a kind of preview. And so this is read-only. And if you want to edit, you can open select an open in Word Online if you have the permission, or if you can open in Word if you have the right permission, and so on. Or download, depends on the permission. So this permission is controlled by SharePoint, but first open as a read only I think that's not a great idea. Because in most cases, we just open for document to read. And let's see what kind of URL is this. So I'm copying this. Yes. And is this better to try the code? It's almost readable, I think. Already? Yeah, it's a little bit better. Okay, so now this time, this is almost readable. So this start from this as URL up to library. And this is a kind of feature in SharePoint. And ID is from the top to file name. And we just need to add parents from the top to library URL. So, as
if you leave parent out, what happens? Kind of curious.
Yes, good point. I tested. And somehow this didn't work very well. New tab. This is what you see.
I see. It doesn't preview it.
Yeah, I love the minimal style, so I tested it too. So I like this link open as a read mode. And also you can shift to edit mode or download mode if you like. And also another great point for this is this style is consistent for every document, like even a PDF. We can just use the same style, the same
You don't
format.
have to memorize the special W or E or whatever that special code
Yeah,
name is.
right. Almost everything. SharePoint can take care of this using these forms, all items ASPX question. This take care of the file type. So it's really nice. And so this library name. And also, you know everything you need. You know where is the site, where is the library, and what is the file name. So even after the migration, we can just use this link as far as migration to take care of changing the site name and so on. Okay. So as a recap. We introduce we show three types of URL. One is open and edit. Second one is just download. And the third one is utilizing preview. And excuse me. This is how to get the URL. So when you go to the library and with the right click, then the first one, the open in browser gives you the first one. And the second one gives you the preview link. And yep, and this may not be known by everyone. And I just want to share with this URL with you today. Okay.
That's great. What about, and the second technique, the one where you're manually concatenating it, how do you do that?
Just copy and paste the library URL. Where is the library? So library up to here, and add the file name.
I see. It's manual concat.
Yeah, it's a kind of manual one.
But most of you are going to be using a programmatic technique to create these links anyway, because you want to create the links and add them either to a form or to some online dashboard.
Yes, right. Yeah. Because I first tried the second one in my ASPX or form, and it didn't work very well.
But the third technique does.
Yep, that works.
Okay. Even if you're in like Chrome Incognito?
Chrome, what is that?
Incognito.
Incognito, yes, no problem. It depends on, yep. It depends on the permission if you have, okay, or do I have? You have opening Word online or not. You may not have download, but you can preview. At first, you have the read permission.
Great. Any questions for Kaudu? This is a very simple technique today, but something that our customers found useful. So maybe you find it useful as well. It's very important because you're going to be creating emails with links in them. You'll create you'll add a link to a form, and it's important that you use the right link so that people can actually open the document. So while we're waiting for questions, Kaudu, let's go to the next slide. Let's do a quick. We've got one question actually already. So that's Suzanne. Thanks for being here. It's more of a comment than a question. Thanks, Kaudu. Could be useful in other applications as well. Absolutely.
Yes, it's just a link.
Susanna, for that comment. So we just shipped a new version of Qdabra Forms literally this week. And in fact, we went live on Tuesday in Europe and in the US. And this latest version includes some bug fixes from our training. We had training in May, the end of May. We had a training class, one of our best ever. And we found a couple bugs in Forms Designer when we were doing the class, and so we fixed those. We also have a new feature in Forms Viewer that just went live, and this is a feature for it's kind of related. When you have a list or a library and your permissions are locked down, so you don't want people to be able to navigate to a list, but you want the form to be able to query the list. So we have a new feature in Forms Viewer that will allow you to make those lockdown lists queryable from a form, even if the person does not have access. So that's an interesting technique that we added for a customer recently, and it went live with the rest of the features. There's a bunch of bug fixes as well, and if you go to the Forms Viewer release notes, you'll see them. In fact, Kaudu, I don't know if you have Forms Viewer up here, but maybe we should show them the release notes.
Okay, one moment, please.
I also have a question from Pete.
Yes.
Pete, thanks for being here. Which permission prohibits download is his question.
Great question. Yes, as far as I verified with external account, read-only case does not show the download link. And also, yes, we have Johanna who helped me to verify this. So if Jit, if you can type in to question area, I think you didn't see the download link for the preview when I asked you to help yesterday. I think it may take some time, but as far as I tested with external account, read only does not see this download button.
Interesting. Jet, I've just made you, Johanna, I've just made you the organizer if you want to chime in. But yeah, this is a quick, simple topic today. Thank you all very much for being here. We'll get this webinar on YouTube and send you the PowerPoint slides. No, there's no samples today, obviously, because it's so simple. But I want to thank you again for being here. And if you need any help whatsoever migrating your Infopath forms away from Infopath, Qdabra Forms is the only option out there that allows you to do it with minimal effort, because we understand the old format. We can parse the old XSN format and keep you compatible with Infopath Designer, even though we have Forms Designer now that does a lot of the Infopath Designer features. So once again, thanks again for being here, and thanks, Qdabra, for doing this wonderful webinar today. Short and sweet. Hope you guys will be here again next week. We've got another topic for you. We're going to be talking about using Google Translate to automatically multilanguage enable your forms, and we hope you can make it. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.